Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, February 7th, 2016. We have a lot of ground to cover this week. We have had makeups, we have had breakups. We're gonna do a soap giveaway starting later in this Y&R chat. I received a ton of comments this week. I think I have like 2 pages of comments, and by far the thing that you guys could not wait to sound off on this week was Adam and Chelsea. So that's where I'm gonna start. This week's poll at yrchat.com. Is it time for Adam and Chelsea to break up? I am not looking forward to voting in this poll myself because I don't know where I stand. I feel both sides very strongly because on the one hand, I'm sorry, when he said to her, Chelsea, stop asking me questions. Just go home to Connor. I'll be home later. I wanted to smack him. I understood her offense completely. Adam was entirely dismissive of Chelsea this week, and I get why she's tired of it. Chelsea is struggling to accept the nature of not only Adam, but of Victor, and to understand that the two are very interconnected, very strongly connected, and she's tired of trying to fight against it. She's tired of trying to change it. I mean, the moment where Adam's face begins to morph onto Victor's portrait while Adam and Chelsea were like on the desk getting ready to do it was nothing short of terrifying. I mean, that was straight out of a horror movie. I mean, glancing over at Victor's picture, one getting ready to make love would be bad enough, but to look up and see your husband's face on Victor's body, bleh! It was terrible, but I thought it was a visually interesting way of showing us exactly where Chelsea's headed, where her head is, exactly where her heart is, exactly what she's thinking and what her worst fears are. And I do understand that. I think Chelsea is struggling to try to have a healthy, normal, honest relationship with Adam. But the problem is she's married to Adam, and she damn well knew who she married when she married him, and that's the other side of the coin. Chelsea, you know that you're married to Adam Newman. You cannot change him. As much as you want to try, you can't. You need to accept that he is who he is. And it is frustrating to watch her constantly nagging on him about telling her the truth. And I will say, for as many times as I'm like, I cannot stand Anita, I really appreciated Anita's conversation with Chelsea this week, where she said, look, honey, is he a good father? Is he a good provider? Is he, is he good to you and your family? Do you have a happy life here? And Chelsea can't help but say yes. And Anita says, well, what's the problem? And I understand that mentality too. What is the problem, Chelsea? It's Nikki. It's Nikki and Victor all over again. Chelsea is unfortunately just stepping foot into this cycle of trying to get blood from a stone. He is not going to give you what he cannot give. And you are going to run yourself ragged and drive yourself crazy for the rest of your life trying to get it. Or you can accept that it's not who he is, and you can, I don't know, make your decision from there. Either stay with him or don't stay with him, but there has to be some level of acceptance of, this is who the man is, I can't change him. So, boy, that is the big question. At the very end of Thursday and Friday's show, Chelsea decides that she's going to play the very last card that she has. She's going to try to leave him. Now, she says to him, I am not bluffing. I am going to walk out this door with our son if you don't tell me the truth about what's going on. And Adam implies that he's going to tell her the truth, but is it going to be the full truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? I don't know about that. What do you guys think? Please feel free to let her rip. How do you feel about Adam and Chelsea this week? You can vote in the poll at yrchat.com, and I would love to read your comments telling me why you think one way or the other. Is it time for this couple to just move on, or do we need to come together? It's the big day for Adam and Victor's plan. They have played a long game of luring Luca into this trap to incriminate his father, and it's all just an elaborate scheme to get the Santoris out of Newman Enterprises. So there is a moment where Luca is in Adam's office talking to who he thinks is an FBI or CIA agent, and it's not. Luca spills his guts to Steve. I don't know what he was, an employee in accounting, or who knows who that Steve was. But Adam comes in and relishes the moment of telling Luca that he just has been had in a big way. And now that you've spilled your guts, I'm either going to take all this information to your daddy and ruin your whole world, your whole family, rain down hell upon you, or you're going to find a way to just quietly move out of the company. I mean, it was really a powerful scene. Justin Hartley chewed the scene. It was nicely performed. It was nicely written. It was tough. I mean, I felt the awkwardness in that room as it was going down. Luca, I think he did a really good job of playing the role of the world's biggest chump. I mean, he looked like such a loser. I felt so bad for him. And I loved seeing Adam on top. You know, I think Luca said something like, oh, you think this is funny? And Adam says, no, I think this is hilarious. It was so mean, but it was such a great scene. And unfortunately for Adam, he doesn't realize that Luca also has one more card left to play, and that's Noah. So Luca says, oh, okay, all right, we can play it this way. I'm gonna go to the police and tell them that Noah's the one who hit Billy, which, by the way, Adam didn't even know about. That's a secret that Victor didn't let him in on. So maybe Adam's not so all-powerful. Maybe he's not so in the know as he thought he was. It was definitely, I enjoyed seeing Adam get the rug yanked out from under him. I mean, he hit the high of his high, quickly followed by the low of a low. And it's not that I don't like Adam or I was mad at him at the time, but it was just good to see Adam not be the smartest guy in the room for just a minute. I liked watching him panic and scramble. And I also like seeing Adam have an adversary who's not his father. There's something, almost like this weird camaraderie between thieves or manipulators or something. There's something about Adam and Luca that while they're enemies, there's also this sort of weird mutual, we're both playing the same game respect, maybe? I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but I thought it was a great dynamic. I just had to give a big round of applause to everyone involved with that, the way that came down and unfolded and twisted. I also certainly do appreciate that Adam was the one who learned this truth about Noah, particularly Adam, and that Adam chose not to throw Noah under the bus. Adam confronts Noah later, asks him if it's true, and Noah says, yeah, it's true. You know what? Go ahead. Why don't you just please go to the police? It will alleviate me of my guilt, or I'm tired of keeping this secret. And furthermore, it will stop Luca from one-upping you. So go ahead. I mean, Noah lays it right out to Adam on a platter. and Adam doesn't take it. He chooses to keep Noah's secret, and I just think it was nicely layered that it was Adam who learned this truth and who ultimately is the one to make the decision. He's both, he has the option of being the executor there with Noah and saving himself, and he doesn't take it. Noah is really stepping up this week. I think we're really getting to see some of the different facets of Noah's personality, who he is, and specifically how he fits into the Newman family, what kind of Newman man he is. Because we do understand that he has that connection with Adam. I mean, it's been blatantly put out there. They both ran somebody over, and Noah has had this connection point with Adam of how do you do it? How do you keep this secret? How do you lie? It's almost as if Noah is just learning how to lie. But at the same time, there were points during the week where I thought Noah was very much reminding me of a young Nicholas. I mean, Nick was not always on the outside of Newman Enterprises. Nick made a conscious decision to work other angles and to not be a part of Victor's drama. But it wasn't an immediate switch. Nick had to go through a journey to get there, and I think we're starting to see that similar journey with Noah. Noah is coming to an understanding of who Victor is, and naturally he has all of this anger and resentment and desire to stop it. I don't know if I don't know if he really has the brains maybe to pull it off. Noah doesn't strike me as a master manipulator, but I think he's gonna definitely make a try in partnering with Luca. He decides, he tries to go to the cops, tries to do everything he can to unburden himself, and at the end of the day he realizes that he can't do that. There were some other circumstances we'll talk about later, but he doesn't end up telling the cops, and instead he says, you know what, I want my revenge. Noah he's starting to get in touch with the vengefulness that's inside of him, and he decides to try to partner with Luca to take down Victor. So we're setting up this structure of maybe Adam and Victor versus Noah and Luca at Newman Enterprises. I don't know if Noah and Luca are going to be able to pull it off. I think that the other way Noah is starting to resemble Nick is this naive thinking that he's gonna do something to change it. Do you remember when Nick turned Victor into the FBI? That was a really big deal, and probably one of the last dominoes that came down before Nick left Newman Enterprises pretty much permanently. So this is not something that Nick hasn't tried. It's not something that Adam hasn't tried. Everybody's tried to knock Victor off his throne, and no one has quite been successful. I don't know that Noah and Luca coming out of left field will be the ones to do it, but it will be, I think, a really good watch. It throws something else, a little bit of an X factor in there. You wouldn't expect Luca and Noah, of all people, to be partners. Now, I have to go off here. I can't help myself from commenting about this because I was particularly annoyed with Marissa this week. She was driving me nuts, running around all the rooms, scrambling, trying to keep secret, trying to, act like she's protecting Noah. She knows that she suspects that Luca's gonna get one-upped by Adam, and she's doing her best to make sure that doesn't happen because she knows if it does, Luca's gonna out Noah and what he did, and Marissa is trying so hard to protect Noah, and we have these conversations thrown in between Marissa and Chelsea where Chelsea is calling Marissa out on her love for Noah, saying, I don't know why you're still with Luca when it's clear that Noah's the one you love. And it sort of framed Marissa's actions in a way that suggested Marissa was doing everything she's doing and even has been doing everything she's doing to protect Noah. It sort of gave me the impression as if Marissa is only with Luca so that she can protect Noah. Well, I don't buy it. That seems like that's sort of tacked on to me, because Marissa looked pretty darn happy waking up in Luca's bed the last couple of weeks. It may all be a moot point anyway, because while Noah's secret is safe for now, Billy's having flashbacks. He is remembering, and by the way, the irony was not lost on me that Victoria had a counseling session with Noah this week about, oh yeah, Victor, he does things that you think are bad, but really it's all about his family. I mean, Victoria was taking the family line, a hard party line there, talking to Noah, but the fact of the matter is, Victor knows, now Adam knows, Noah knows that Noah was the one who actually ran over the love of her life, Billy, and are all conspiring to hide it from her. And even worse, they're using it as a bargaining chip when it comes to business. I can't remember who it was that mentioned a few weeks back, several weeks back, that ultimately the way that this web is going to come together is that Victoria finally understands the ultimate betrayal of what her father has done to her. I mean, Victoria is there, singing Victor's praises in every way, and when she finds out that Victor helped Noah cover this up and didn't tell her about it, I think she's going to turn. I think she's going to start singing a different tune. But for now, I cannot help but mention, I really love the new Billy. There are pieces where I think, he doesn't seem quite like the other incarnations of Billy, but I'm throwing that out the window, and I'm just really jumping on board with what we've got. I like this new actor. It's just almost seamless, the way he's blended into this relationship with Victoria. I like seeing them together. I think there's a lot of chemistry there, and it can only go up from here. I in general feel very much like I like Billy and Victoria right now, and I like the dynamic that's happening between Billy and Victoria, and especially Natalie. I think that Victoria, there's just something so fabulous about the way she walked into Natalie's hotel room, and Natalie assumed that Victoria doesn't know anything except about lipstick, probably, and brash and sassy, and Victoria starts dropping like computer hacker terms and how to fix bugs, like things that would just, blew my mind. I don't even know if they were real terms, but Victoria starts dropping terms on Natalie, and Natalie says, do you even know what you're saying right now? And Victoria just says, this is my project now, so I'm educating myself. Boom! I just think that Victoria is so fabulously cold, and I don't know why I enjoy it as much as I do, but I certainly do. And I like the juxtaposition of cold Victoria versus this sort of bumbling Natalie. It's very fun. I worry about the fact that we're building up this incredible chemistry with Billy and Victoria, and the truth is Victoria is being chumped here a little bit by Billy. I mean, while she's having the conversation with Natalie, Billy's in the background or in the bathroom hiding because he's come to check on his little project, this little project that's supposed to enact revenge upon Victor and somehow vindicate him. I just cannot understand for the life of me why Billy is going along with this. The path, and I think Victoria even said it during her conversation with Noah, the path of trying to get revenge on Victor ultimately always leads only to one place, which is you losing. And, meanwhile, we are seeing Billy jump. I mean, he's just getting out of the hospital and jumping right back onto that path. It's a little shocking, and it's hard for me to believe that, that he thinks he's going to pull this off without getting caught. Last week's website poll was, do you think that Billy and Phyllis will develop a romantic connection? Not do you like it or not, but just do you think that that's where YNR is headed? 59% said no way, they're just going to be friends and allies only, while 41% said yes, I think we're headed in that direction, which is a decently divided split. And I will say I also really appreciate and read all of the comments on that post, and you should too, because it is a riveting conversation. It seems like people, if it is headed in that direction, it kind of seems like nobody really wants it. Henry specifically says, I feel like Phyllis is doing this for Jack. And I thought that too throughout the week. But in particular, there was an episode on Monday and a sequence on Monday where we really zoomed in on Phyllis, Jack, Billy, Victoria. Billy was just getting out of the hospital, and Victoria picks up her camera on her phone and takes this picture of Jack, Phyllis, and Billy, celebrating Billy getting out of the hospital, celebrating Billy's return to Gibeau, and there was all of these well wishes and happiness and everybody thinking, the Abbott family is coming back together. But I think I fall into the camp of, I think we're headed in maybe a romantic connection direction, because that looked like foreshadowing if I have ever seen it. And I'm not saying that I think Y&R is necessarily going to head it with a Phyllis-Billy relationship anytime in the near future, but I just wonder if we're cycling toward it, because it just looked like everybody's smiling faces. I don't know. I think, what we're seeing is probably the beginning of the end of those relationships. And not only that, but we're seeing this, this stuff going down in the foreground with Billy, Jack, and Phyllis in the camera, in the photo, and Victoria's kind of out on the outside taking the photo. I just thought, that's so representative to me. I think Y&R did that very much on purpose to signal something to us about the future. And it's a bit of a shame, because I think that Jack and Phyllis belong together. I think that Billy and Victoria belong together. So I don't want it to happen, but I kind of think it's going to happen. And then again, later that evening, there's this sequence of everyone at home. Both Victoria and Billy have just reunited and made love. Jack and Phyllis have just reunited and made love. And after it's all happened, Jack and Victoria separately are left alone in their beds, while Billy and Phyllis kind of trickle off to Billy comes downstairs and Phyllis wanders over to the window, and Billy's looking out the window, and they're both sort of looking out the window, thinking, looking at the night sky and thinking about what's going on. And I am about their secret, really. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going through these minds right now? And I think what is, and probably should be on both Phyllis and Billy's mind as they're looking out those windows is this really worth it? Shouldn't my relationship with my spouse be enough? In my mind, there is just no way that Nick and Sage's relationship is going to survive their own elaborate plan. One thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking about Adam and Chelsea is that we're clearly chem testing Nick and Chelsea. There was a moment very early in the week where Chelsea is thinking about Adam and thinking about how much he's like Victor while she's talking to Nick, the Newman son, the only Newman male who's not wrapped up in Victor's game. So I kind of think that we might be pulling Adam and Chelsea apart and possibly pushing Chelsea toward someone like Nick. What do you guys feel about that? Do you think Nick and Chelsea might have some chemistry? I think so. I think it's possible. I feel like I am still a diehard Nick and Sharon fan. I never got off that wagon. So I would love to see Nick and Sharon reunited, but I'm also up for anything. I'm ready to go where the chemistry is, you know me. So I feel open to something like that. But either way, there's just no way Nick and Sage have the staying power. They're probably going to pair her up with Adam. He seems to be the one who's really tuned into her and supportive of her. And they seem to have this understanding, almost like a similar camaraderie between thieves or manipulators or something, where they don't have to ask a bunch of questions. And it's interesting that used to be a camaraderie that Adam and Chelsea would share. It used to be that Chelsea understood Adam, and that he was a con for a con, and they were able to relate with each other on that level. Meanwhile, Adam kind of reverted back to his old ways. Chelsea went on to sort of become this good girl, and I think that therein lies the rub. It's a very similar dynamic with Nick and Sage, although I like that they're working together. I like this whole twist of Sage getting transferred into Fairview. It's completely unbelievable, but it's a little bit fun. Sage decides she gets committed, and I mean, it's ridiculous that she would be committed A, to Fairview, and B, under Dr. Anderson's care, but I'm gonna throw that out the window because what else am I gonna do? The other thing that's sort of unbelievable is Sage is trying to find out information on the inside about Dr. Anderson. Well, Nick's doing it on the outside, but Sage is fumbling around in Dr. Anderson's office, and she comes upon this book in Dr. Anderson's bookshelf. The title of the book is Living with Paralysis. The unstated subtitle of the book is The Sandra Allen Story. That's me! I'm Sandra Allen, back for revenge on your husband, subtitle. So that signals to the audience that we have confirmation, overt confirmation, that Sandy, Dr. Anderson, she is formerly known as Sandra Allen. And in case you are a newer Y&R viewer, this was hinted to. It's been a while, maybe a year ago, that there was some sort of pool party that Nick threw when he was a young guy in high school, and Sharon was there. And this girl, Sandra Allen, was at the pool party trying to impress Nick. Everybody was drunk. She ended up diving off of the roof or something. She dove into the Newman pool, broke her neck, and Nick knew really nothing about this because Victor came home, swept it all away, paid it off, made it disappear, and Nick was really none the wiser. Now here we are, flash forward to today, when it's becoming revealed that Dr. Anderson is Sandra Allen, and it's becoming revealed that her motive is really that she's still in love with Nick after all of these years. I'm shocked. I guess I didn't pick up on that explicitly. I thought through all this time and all this shadiness that Dr. Anderson's motive was revenge on Nick. So it was a pleasant twist to me that it's actually that she's in love with him. And now while Sage is on the inside at Fairview, Nick is wise to this. He's trying to find out what it is that, why it is that Dr. Anderson's so interested in their lives. So he's spending a lot of time with her. They're up at the restaurant. I want to say they were at the rooftop bar or something. And there's just this moment where they're talking very intimately, Nick and Sandy, and she's just telling him how much she understands him, and just little clues about how she thinks he's, he always has good intentions, he's a good guy, he just gets wrapped up with the wrong women. And I think it was the rooftop bar because there was this blue light over her face, and she just looked like the creep factor was way high in that scene. The look in her kind of beady looking eyes and the blue light on her face, she looked almost alien or something. Really good casting there, because the way she's looking at Nick and being creepy, I totally bought into it. And then out of nowhere, she just leans in and kisses him. I was so shocked after all of these months of seeing her, and we've saw the baby switch, we've experienced her, and all of a sudden out of nowhere it was just like planting one on old Nick. And I almost felt bad for the poor guy because Nick, he's so dumb. He's just so dumb. Nick Newman is just the one thing he's sure of is that he really likes sex. So I could almost feel his conflict on the inside, like Dr. Anderson's kissing him, and I'm trying to imagine the thought bubble above Nick's head, and it's to me saying like, what do I do? Nick likes kisses, but Nick no likes Sandy, but Nick likes kisses. Oh. He opened his eyes, and we got a sense of his, what happening? He's like a puppy or something. But it was very strange, and it totally revealed motive to the audience while confusing Nick thoroughly. Meanwhile, Sage is trying to call Nick to tell him she's found this book, which is, it's not even, it's so what? It's a book. Like it tells nothing. It's not a very good clue, but apparently Sage thinks it is. So she's trying to call him and she gets caught. And so the orderly gives her a needle in the arm, which is what I was worried about because we all saw what happened to Sharon. It was constant sedation. I was worried that Sage was going to spill all about the plan, which I'm kind of wondering if that's still on the table. If Sage gets sedated again, who's to say she's not just going to tell Dr. Anderson all about the plan and further put them into danger? I mean, this whole plan is so very, very dangerous and unnecessary, but I'm going with it. And I just about lost my head when I saw I think it was the preview of Thursday's show and moving into Friday's show. Patty is back. I love it. I love the character of Patty for absolutely no reason. I have no reason other than I think I find her to be an entertaining villainess. I like the actress and she just plays crazy so well, but with this just a sweetness about her. I mean, we don't know where she's been, only that she's been homeless and eating out of garbage cans, and we first see her sitting in Paul's office and Paul comes in and he's just so tender with her. Oh, I just about died when he was washing her face. She's dirty and unkempt, and he's washing his sister's face with that washcloth. That just absolutely broke my heart. And there was a follow-up scene on Friday's show where Paul is talking to Kevin, and he remarks something about how he's lived a life and his brothers lived a life where the parents taught them that all they really wanted to do was be good people and help people, and the irony is the one person that he's never been able to help was his sister. It tugged me in the right way. I thank you for that moment, YNR. That was a nice quiet moment. It wasn't plot driven. It was entirely character driven. I just zoomed in on Paul and felt it. It was so good. Unfortunately for Patty, she has to get dragged kicking and screaming back to Fairview. I mean, she is screaming at the top of her lungs and fighting physically against having to go back to Fairview where Dr. Anderson is. I really liked that actress. She played it and tugged it on my heart in the right way. And also showing that, like there's some pity here. I mean, Patty's not just a villain. She has a heart. She has a point of view. And I guess I like those mixed bags. I like characters who aren't just one thing, and Patty seems like a mix of a lot of different things. But I also appreciated that even though Patty had to go back to Fairview, Paul walked in there and put Dr. Anderson on notice. I wish he would have been a little more forceful with her, but at least I hope somebody becomes hip to what's going on there. I was very surprised that Nick ended up confiding to Sharon about this entire plan that he's got going on with Sage. He couldn't stand the fact that Sharon was seeing Sage as this crazy person who was obsessed with Sully, so he confesses to Sharon that it's all a big elaborate plan to find out more about Dr. Anderson. I wasn't expecting that at all. Pretty much, and Nick told her that Dr. Anderson kissed him, which I'm sure Sharon was not happy about. She probably still does not want anybody else really kissing Nick, least of all her therapist. Sharon is at least smart enough to let her red flag go up about that. Sharon is no dummy, and she immediately called Dr. Anderson to question her after Nick leaves, and I feel like the on the surface, I mean, this will probably be revealed in Monday's show, but I feel like the on the surface, the audience is supposed to expect Sharon to turn around and tell Dr. Anderson everything and tip her off, but I hope, and what I'm kind of leaving myself open to and predicting, is that maybe Sharon gets in on this whole deal, that she doesn't turn Nick in, that she ends up helping the situation and kicks the door wide open on Dr. Anderson and her fraud. I am so totally into Hillary right now. I cannot help myself. Hillary, oh, her hair is perfect. She had on these cute little earrings this week. She was in this black and teal blouse. Ugh, it was just beautiful. Like, I just cannot get over Hillary's impeccable styling lately. I don't know if it's because she's like newer to the show and I'm just sort of rediscovering her or what, but I really like the actress. That being said, I was really hoping that Devon did not decide to just immediately take her back with open arms. I mean, I feel like Devon fought so hard for his relationship with her, and all she did was break his heart. And on some level, I understand that wasn't her fault. She was sick, but I just didn't. I think Devon deserves better than second place. Even though Hillary was sick, she was cognitive of what she was doing. But I think that ultimately, it all ends up going back to Neil. It's all Neil's fault. Neil was the one that had to follow her to wherever the honeymoon was, and Neil's the one that set Devon up with that tape, and he waited all that time to show Hillary that Devon slept with another woman, even though he didn't, and then she falls down, and rather than taking her to a hospital, he just lays her up in a bed for who knows how many months. If anyone deserves blame for all of this, it's Neil. If he just would have gotten her the help that she needed, then the experimental treatment never would have been necessary. She never would have forgotten that entire last chunk of her life. But I suppose everything can be traced back to anything at any point. Everyone's guilty of something here. But even though Hillary made a very compelling plea to Devon, he turns around and walks out on her. And I felt bad for her because I really understood where she was coming from in the moment where she was really trying to explain to Devon, and I thought she captured it really perfectly, where she said, I think what happened to me was that I couldn't escape my guilt over cheating on my husband with you, his son. So when I had my accident, just mentally reset my life back to before all of that guilt happened. And that seemed very understandable to me. It really made the character's motives understandable to me. But at the end of the day, it didn't work, and Devon turned around and left her. And even as fashionable as she is, she deserved it. Yeah, I want Lily and Kane back together. I do. There was a very subtle moment at the beginning of the week when Michael and Kane had a scene together, and it really highlighted the similarities between the Michael Lauren Carmine affair and the Lily Kane Joe affair, even though they had, Lauren's affair was kind of ongoing and driven by something a little different, I think. But the fact that both couples just needed some element of forgiveness, some willingness to work together, and everything could be okay again. Because for weeks, Kane has been struggling to get over the fact that Lily not only had the affair, but she stopped trusting him. She didn't believe him when it came to the whole Hillary kidnapping thing. She did abandon him at a moment when he needed her, and it's been a lot of work for Kane to get past that. So I thought it was great that Michael just sort of very delicately talked to Kane and said, you know, it can work. If you work together, you absolutely can overcome the problems between you. And that's what I'm hoping for. Jill was back this week to make that happen. Jess Walton looked amazing. She had just this like great long hair right now, and she was wearing this black and white pantsuit number. She just looked sharp. And I want to say that so that I can feel justified in saying that what the hell is YNR thinking? Just skipping right past giving Jill and Jess Walton the opportunity to like receive the news that her son is alive, and then totally skipping the reunion. YNR, you screwed this up. You really did. They have got to be kicking themselves and realizing that they blew it. I mean, they took us all the way there with Jill and her grief over Billy, and then at the very last minute, they just didn't follow through. If they would have had Jess Walton on for one more episode, and I can't say, I don't know, maybe she was busy, maybe it just didn't work out, I'm sure there's a reason, but then to not correct it immediately when she came back is just, it's boneheaded. They screwed up, YNR screwed up. I mean, Joel's spending time with the Winters family before she's even seen Billy? That's messed up, YNR. I'm not even gonna spend too much time telling you because I know you've been told. But I am gonna focus on the good things because I did like a lot of it. I liked that Jill and Colin used their anniversary party, in quotes, and Michael and Lauren to concoct this kind of scheme and effort to get Lily and Kane back together. And Jill and Colin staged this fake fight that Michael and Lauren are in on, and Kane and Lily are trying to mediate, and some of the things that are being said are very relevant to what's going on with Lily and Kane right now, and there's just these looks between them while the fight's going on, and I was just back in. I don't know what happened or why, but it just really worked so well. That scene worked so well for not only making me want Lily and Kane back together. I mean, and just the way they were looking at each other, and after the fight was over, he just kind of gave her this head nod, like, come on, you know, come on, let's go talk. And they did go talk, and that was fine, whatever, yada yada, and then they went upstairs. Oh, that sex scene was hot, 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 hot. I almost forgot how smoky that Kane and Lily can be, because we see Kane and Lily a lot, but it just, the fact that they haven't been together in so long, and Daniel Goddard has been off the show for a little while, he hurt himself, it's just, the absence has made the heart grow fonder for me, for Kane and Lily. I loved the sex scene. I loved the group downstairs congratulating themselves that they'd done it. I love Daniel Goddard. I love Crystal Khalil. Individually and together, I'm totally back on track with the chemistry here between Kane and Lily. Plus, just in general, I think that YNR needs their long-term couples. They need to have couples who work it out, and I want to see them work it out. Kane and Lily's pending reunion is so perfect for Valentine's Day. And you know what else is perfect for Valentine's Day? A soap giveaway. So we've been talking over the last couple weeks about my 4 new YNR inspired soaps. I have Lauren and Michael. Oh, my favorite couple. And gosh, I don't know if this is bad timing, but Adam and Chelsea, these were the two that you guys had made, had like been banging on my door to make over and above everybody else. And so I can't even like show you the bars because they're already wrapped. You can see them here on the video, and you can see them when you go to enter the soap giveaway right now. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you pick which one of these 4 bars you would like to enter the giveaway for. So if you're interested in receiving one of these, you can just go to my website at GenoaCitySoap.com. There will be a big banner right when you go there that shows all 4 of these soaps and says that there's a Soap for Soap Fans giveaway. Click on that banner and all you need to do is tell me which bar of soap that you want to win, and that will enter you into the drawing. And if your name gets randomly picked on the drawing, you will win the soap that you pick. I said this the last time, I would pick the soap that you like the smell of best. I've got the fragrance descriptions up there. It's tempting to, I think, pick the character that you like best. But if you don't like black licorice, then you're not gonna like Adam, even if you like the character of Adam. So I would read the fragrance descriptions and make my selection based on that. So this is going to be my Valentine's Day gift to you. I'm going to take everybody's name who's interested all week from today through next Saturday night. And everybody, you gotta get your entry in before Saturday the 13th because right away on Sunday morning, Valentine's Day, February 14th, I'm going to do a drawing and I'm going to choose which one of the soap fans gets the Genoa City soap. So go check it out. Again, the website is GenoaCitySoap.com. Go pick your soap and I hope you win. Who doesn't love a flightless seabird movie? It was a cute little scene between Abby and Max. She was trying to convince him to go see some kids movie about penguins, and she said I wish I could remember the name of the movie now, but Max was surprised that she would remember the movie, and she says, well, who doesn't like a flightless seabird movie? Absolutely everyone guessed that it was Abby. So I'm going to take a really deep breath here and I'm going to read the names of all of the winners. Ready? Katie, Henry, Sharita, Candida, Victoria, Austin, Naomi, Consuela, Amanda, Ellen C, Justin, Tommy, January, Connor, Michelle, and Colleen. Congratulations to the winners. Everybody got that one, but this week I'm not making it so easy. I think this is a comment that absolutely could have come from anyone. So you tell me who said it. Sometimes good people do bad things. If you would like to leave your guess, you can go to yrchat.com. If you get it right, I will read your name and give you major props on next week's YNR chat. Sometimes good people do bad things. Who said it? You tell me. Well, I got a lot of comments this week. I think probably my favorite one was Connor left me a voicemail and he let it rip on Jill. Connor says, how dare Jill? Your son was just fighting for his life and you were slamming everyone around you. When your son finally gets better, where are you? You're putting all of your time and energy into Lily and Kane getting back together? You'd rather help Kane, who's not your real son? Ooh, I've never heard Connor get that mad. I am glad I'm on your good side, Connor. Everybody was so ticked off about the Jill thing. That's why I'm like, shoot, YNR has got to be hearing it hard from the fans this week. Adam at yrchat.com says, when Kane asked Jill how Billy was doing, I was surprised to see her just briefly mention that he's recovering. Last time Jill was on screen, she was at Billy's bedside crying and anxiously waiting for him to wake up. Now that he's awake and recovering, shouldn't she be with Billy, helping him through his recovery instead of creating a plan to try to save Kane and Lily's marriage? Jill needs to get her priorities straight. Yes, sir. I totally agree. YNR, it's boneheaded on YNR's part. I don't really blame the character of Jill. I totally blame YNR. It's just, I think somebody screwed up. They did not do their research, and somebody dropped the ball. I hope nobody got fired for it, though, because I bet the fans... YNR chatters are like the most cool, calm, like just awesome, chill people on the planet. And I know that the YNR community in general is not. Like, we are a little nook, I think, of cool YNR fans, but there's a lot of YNR fans out there that are like vicious. So, I would not want to be them right now. Gary had called into my voicemail and just made a very rational and astute point about Jill's absence. Gary says part of the nature of soap operas is that you see these characters suffer and you long for them to have their grief resolved, but you're always supposed to get the payoff. And the audience was denied that payoff when it comes to Jill. The audience was denied Jill's happy day. I just thought that was so philosophical, Gary. It is very true. And I just betcha YNR's paying for not giving us that payoff. Let's see here. Daisy on Facebook says, I'm glad that Devon finally left Hillary. I think he needs to get away from this back and forth with Neil, and so does Hillary for that matter. But because Hillary seems to be getting her true memories back, feelings and all, I wonder if she'll go after Neil for breaking she and Devon apart. After all, it's Neil's revenge actions before and after she fell that brought she and Devon to this point. Yes, I am glad that you made this point, Daisy, and you helped connect for me the reason why Neil decided to take a drink at the very end of the Lily Kane reunion / Jill Colin anniversary celebration. When everybody else left the athletic club, Neil takes a glass of champagne, takes a big sniff of it, swirls it around in the glass, hesitates for a moment, and then tosses it back. And I thought, well, why? What does that mean? It seems like, yes, Neil has not found his love, but he did what was right, ultimately. He pushed forward the two people that probably belonged together. He took a step back. Although, I don't know. It's not like Neil wasn't wronged in that whole thing. He found her first. But anyway, I digress. I wonder why on earth Neil would be taking that drink. And Daisy jogged me into thinking maybe we are going to see Hillary start to work some revenge on Neil. Maybe the love that she is feeling for him is slowly going to fade away as she gets her memories back and morph into this desire for revenge. Now, we've seen Hillary in the past being vicious and initially that's when she came on to the show. She was trying to spike Neil's drink and get him to drink again and fall off the wagon and destroy his life, and she was successful. So is Hillary going to somehow use the fact that Neil is wavering on his sobriety to enact a revenge plot against him? Or, of course, there's also the possibility that she's going to try to use it to come in and ride to his rescue and be his savior. This may very well be something that ends up drawing Neil and Hillary together. It really could go either way at this point. sort of wish we were out of this cycle. I sort of wish Y&R would throw in another woman. I mean, something to give us some fresh, because it does feel like we are right back to the Devon, Neil, Hillary triangle, and it needs something new. It needs a new shot in the arm. Ellen C at yrchat.com remarks, why doesn't Nick have a private investigator look into Sandy? Too logical? The storyline with Sage pretending to be mentally ill in order to spy on Sandy is pretty dumb. I think it is too logical. I think Y&R's, that would really make sense. Now that you mention it, he could have had anybody look into Sandy, and instead they concoct this way too elaborate plan. But I don't know, I guess maybe I'm alone, but I found it entertaining. Why not? I'm along for the ride, you know me. Gary had also mentioned in one of his voicemails, and this is something I hadn't thought about before, but Gary says, I think that this baby switch will be in the dark for years. I hadn't thought of that, because there's a part of me that assumes when Sandy's secret comes out that it's going to blow up every single bad thing that she's ever done. But Gary makes a very probable point that it's not. When it comes out that she is who she says she is, it's going to be clear that she's guilty of trying to break up Sage and Nick's relationship, but that does not necessarily lead to this horrific baby switch discovery. That's something that could be boiling under the surface for a long time to come. I can almost see Y&R doing it too. You guys let me know what you think about that, because we are steamrolling toward Dr. Anderson's big secret getting busted out. Do you think that that means the paternity thing is going to come up too? I mean, because it's possible they're going to blow it up now, because it also would probably blow open the door with Adam and Chelsea. If they're there's fractures in that relationship, finding out that Sage and Adam maybe shared that baby together would both break up Adam and Chelsea, and would break up Sage and Nick probably, and switching up the couples a little bit there. Maybe they need to put Hillary in with one of those people or something. I just feel like I like mixing up the couples. I'm all for that, but I want to mix that pot even more. Consuela at yrchat.com says, this is where we get to the part of the comments where we hear the Adam and Chelsea stuff, because you guys you let it rip this week. Consuela says, I am so tired of Chelsea nagging Adam about his business dealings. I really want to tell her to just get over it and let Adam be Adam. Yes, I feel that. It's like I feel torn on this topic, because Chelsea, don't pretend like you don't know who you got involved with. I still do think that they were both making this effort to be better at the time when they came together, and it does seem like Chelsea continued on that path while Adam slowly reverted back to being who he was. But Chelsea's had so many points along the way to pull the ripcord on this. She didn't have to continue to love him. She didn't have to forgive him after it was revealed that he is who he is. She's forgiven him a bajillion different times, and she didn't have to ever. So the time has passed to where you can plead that you didn't know what you were going to get. Anna left me a voicemail, and she says, Chelsea always threatens to leave Adam. She does that whether he tells her the truth or doesn't tell her the truth. It's getting a little old. So wow, I think people are definitely, it seems like they're kind of getting a little tired of that. But then Beatrice comes in and she says, I like the way Chelsea put her foot down with Adam. When he told her, go home, be with Connor, it was so belittling, like he's her father, not her husband. I'm so excited to get your guys' real thoughts on this poll question this week. Do you think Adam and Chelsea should just break up? And I want to see some comments on that too, because I think this is a dividing question, because like on the one hand it's like we feel the chemistry, we know that Adam and Chelsea are a super couple, they have great sex, they have great understanding of one another, they have a great family, but there's problems there are fundamental problems between these two people and who they are and their ability to really meld together and make it work. So I want to know if you want Adam and Chelsea to make it work. So don't do the poll this week, please, because I want to read some comments about that too next week. Monique on Facebook says, I have a feeling that if Adam tells Chelsea about Noah being the one responsible for hitting Billy, that she's going to run and tell Billy the same thing she did when Gabe/Adam made her mad. That is a good point, Monique, because it seemed like at the tail end of Friday's show, Chelsea was saying, I'm going to leave. Either you tell me what the big secret is, or you're going to lose me and your son. Goodbye. And Adam says, okay, fine, I'll tell you. But is he really? Is he really going to tell her the whole truth? And if he does, yeah, Chelsea's probably is going to go to Billy. I mean, it's the exact same thing that happened before, when Adam confessed the truth about, who he was and what happened with Delia. Yeah. I think fans never really got over that, too. I think maybe that was a tough point, where, I can't remember what it was. It was like Chelsea she had a last straw about lies, and she went and she told Billy that Adam was Adam, and that's when he got arrested, and everything sort of fell down around him. And I think maybe that's when the fans stopped trusting her, or when some of the fans at least stopped trusting her and stopped kind of maybe throwing their entire support behind that relationship. Jojo on YouTube says, hello, Noah, fess up. The outcome of revealing that you accidentally backed over Billy is far lesser than the benefit of getting Luca out of Newman Enterprises and Marissa's life. This comment Jojo made on Thursday's show, but I like the tail end of this, and it's even though now Lucas and Noah seem to be maybe partnering with each other, I like the comment Jojo makes here at the tail end that says, explain to Billy, Noah, the same way you did to Adam, and then beg for forgiveness. Everyone loves you. You are not Adam. Exactly. This is such a really important point. Noah assumes that everyone's going to turn on him, but it's not the same thing. I mean, there are similarities in the two situations with Adam and Noah, but they are very different. Adam was hated by everyone. He'd already done all of these horrible things. It was a last straw when it comes to Adam. With Noah, it's kind of a first offense. Just tell everybody, it was such an accident. Just tell everybody, oh, I got in over my head, I can't believe this happened. And it would probably all go away really quickly and without any drama. Simone had left me a voicemail early in the week, and she was talking about Natalie being a potential Victor Newman heir. And Simone says Natalie gives me a Victoria vibe. And also mentions that once upon a time there was some speculation about Victoria being Paul's child, not Victor's. Ooh, I don't even think I knew that. So you guys are schooling me on some YNR history there. I'd love to hear more about that little twist. I mean, was it ever followed up on? Or did we just sort of move past it? Or I don't know. YNR loves that kind of thing. But I feel that too. I feel that connection and even that weird similarity between Natalie and Victoria. And last week, let's see, we had a poll that we talked about last week about, who is Natalie really? And everybody seemed to be speculating that she was, now I can't remember. There was some it seemed unanimous that everybody thought that, it seemed unanimous that everybody thought Natalie was Dr. Anderson and Nick's child, but I'm still feeling like she's somehow connected to the Newmans. That was my initial impression based on our conversations with Victor, but now I'm kind of getting drawn into that based on the interactions with Victoria. Lots of comments this week of people saying that Natalie is Victor and Judge Moxley's love child. I've seen a lot of people saying that, and I not only find that theory to be likely, but I find it to be pleasing as well. I think it was Gary that told me that the actress who plays Judge Moxley is coming back to the show. Can you guys confirm that for me? Is she actually coming back onto the show? Because that would be a perfect fit. It would be a perfect time to tie that in. And frankly, I completely love the idea of bringing on, what's her first name, Elise or something, whatever, Judge Moxley. I like bringing her in and having this surprise, Nikki, there's another Newman heir. Okay, everybody, I think that brings us to the end of our Y&R chat for today. I really got some good meaty comments this week, so I hope you keep them coming. You can go to yrchat.com, leave comments on the blog. I love reading those and also seeing that you guys are discussing amongst yourselves. That's really fun for me too. You can leave comments on the blog or find the links to YouTube and Twitter and Facebook where you can leave comments there and chat with each other. And of course you can call into the voicemail at area code 309-588-4569 and let me know everything that you're feeling about this week's show. I thought it was, or next week's show, because I thought this one was a good one. I think we're setting up for a lot of big stuff. Isn't there a February sweeps? I'm thinking maybe that's why things are so heating up here. I think it's February sweeps or something because the show seems good. There's a lot of good romance for Valentine's Day, and we've got a soap giveaway that we're going to do on Valentine's Day. So go to genoacitysoap.com and enter the giveaway. Next week we'll pick a winner, and that'll make me super happy. And seeing next week's show is going to make me super happy too. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna cut out, but I love ya, and I will see you next week. Everybody have a good one. Bye.